Which Aussie state is secretly dangerous, shockingly affordable, or a boring paradise with the cleanest air on Earth? Let's rank all 8, and no one's ready for number 1. Do you love burning deserts, overpriced homes, and wildlife that can literally kill you? Then congrats, you may already live in Australia, or you're one of the million feral camels wandering the outback. But Australia isn't just snakes, sand, and surf. It's got futuristic cities, ancient rainforests, beaches that feel like postcards, and healthcare that won't bankrupt you. Still, with 6 states and 2 mainland territories, why do most Aussies cram themselves into just 3 cities? Today, we're ranking all 8, from worst to best. And trust me, this list will tick off everyone. Before we dive into number 8, a weird little shout out to the places you probably forgot existed. Norfolk Island, Christmas Island, and the Cocos Keeling Islands are Australia's external territories, and they're jaw-droppingly beautiful. But living there, it's a whole different game. Think slow internet, 5,000 neighbours max, and paying $12 for a banana. These islands are great if you're a hermit, a marine biologist, or someone who thinks remote means perfect. They're stunning, sure, but for most people, they feel like Australia on airplane mode. Number 8. Northern Territory, 3rd highest income in the country, but also home to the most crocs and crimes per capita. Welcome to the Northern Territory. This place is raw, wild, and massive. You could drive for 10 hours and not hit a single traffic light or another human. But that comes at a cost. The NT has crime rates over 300% higher than the national average. And the climate? Pick your poison. Dry desert heat or tropical cyclones. Yet housing is dirt cheap. And if you love nature that can kill you, this might be your personal heaven. Uluru, Kakadu, vast skies, and even vaster silences. But it's not for the faint-hearted. Imagine living hours from the nearest supermarket, your phone signal cutting out halfway through a call, and your closest neighbour being a saltwater crocodile. This place is beautiful, brutal, and bottom of our list. Number 7, South Australia. It's cheap, it's safe, and it has wine. What's not to love? Well, everything closes at 5 p.m. South Australia often gets forgotten, even by Australians. Adelaide is its capital, a city so laid back it practically naps. You'll find beautiful architecture, world-famous wine regions, and no traffic, which is either great or suspicious depending on who you ask. But the economy is sleepy. Wages are low, job opportunities are limited, and nightlife is what you'd call pre-industrial. Want to buy wine, groceries, and a fridge after 6 p.m? Try again tomorrow. Still, if you're into peace, good weather, and real estate that won't bankrupt you, SA might surprise you. Just don't expect a wild Friday night unless you bring your own party. Number 6. Queensland. Beaches, Everglades, and roller coasters, but also the highest poverty rate in the country. Queensland looks like a postcard and lives like a reality check. It's the Sunshine State, a tourism magnet with everything from the Great Barrier Reef to Gold Coast theme parks. But behind the surfboards and skyline, things aren't always sunny. Brisbane, the capital, is seriously underrated. It's hosting the 2032 Olympics. It's expanding fast, and its job market is heating up. But step outside the major cities, and inequality smacks you in the face. Rents rising fast, wages aren't keeping up, and services are stretched thin. People come here to live the dream, but many quietly move back once the dream gets expensive. Still, for adventurers and warm weather lovers, Queensland's potential is massive. At number 5, Tasmania, a nature lover's paradise. If you don't mind being broke and cold, Tasmania is straight up magical. It's like someone copy-pasted New Zealand, shrunk it slightly, and added a weird museum that displays roadkill next to fine art. That's Mona, and somehow it works. You get world-class hiking, cleanest air on Earth, hydropower, and some of the friendliest people in the country. But income here is the lowest of any state. Jobs are limited unless you're remote or lucky. And the cold? It's real. If you can work from home and want peace, it's perfect. But if you need career growth, nightlife, or options beyond kombucha and community markets, Tassie's charm can wear thin. At number 4, New South Wales. Sydney is stunning, if you can afford it, and don't mind terrible nightlife and worse traffic. New South Wales is Australia's global face. Sydney is a world city, iconic skyline, epic beaches, food from every culture. But the price tag? Brutal. Median home price? $1.2 million, that's median. Parking spots have mortgages here. You can surf, hike and ski in the same weekend. But you'll spend half that weekend in gridlock. The nightlife? Surprisingly dull. And don't even try getting an affordable rental near the beach unless your dog has a LinkedIn. That said, for those with the income to enjoy it, NSW is phenomenal. It's just not built for the middle class anymore. At number 3, Canberra. The safest, richest, most boring place in Australia. The Australian Capital Territory is like a model home, perfectly laid out, surprisingly quiet, and lacking personality. Canberra, the capital, was designed by architects, and it shows. Roundabouts, symmetry, and eerily efficient streets. But don't be fooled. People here are thriving. ACT has the highest average income and lowest crime in the nation. The schools are excellent, the museums are free, and autumn turns the whole city orange and gold. But when locals joke that the nightlife ends at 6 p.m, they're not exaggerating. This place is so calm it makes beige look risky. Still, if you like structure, seasons, and solid paychecks, Canberra is your dream suburb disguised as a city. At number 2, Victoria. Hipsters, waterfalls, and 4 seasons in a single hour. Victoria is weird in the best way. One minute it's sunny, the next it's hailing, and no one even flinches. Melbourne is the capital, and it's everything at once. Coffee snob central, creative powerhouse, startup hub, and sports-crazed metropolis. It's culturally rich, full of laneways, street art, music, and food that wins global awards. The job market's solid, and there's space to grow professionally and artistically. But the cost of living is climbing fast, and the weather might ruin your plans, or your umbrella. Still, for diversity, career potential, and lifestyle, Victoria is nearly unbeatable. Finally, at number 1, Western Australia, the most isolated big city on Earth, and somehow, the best place to live. Western Australia doesn't care what the other states think. It's bigger than Texas, richer than you'd expect, and calm as a coastal breeze. Perth is its capital, often overlooked, but stunning. You've got beautiful beaches, booming resources, and housing that's shockingly affordable for a capital city. And that isolation, it's a feature, not a bug. WA is far from everything, but you don't need to leave. Locals surf before work, eat world-class seafood at lunch, and chill by the river at sunset. Plus, thanks to mining, the economy's solid. It's clean, laid back, and growing in its own quiet way. People here joke that Perth is so far from everything, but that's exactly why no one wants to leave. So by now you've seen wine-loving ghost towns, crocodile crime zones, and a city where the nightlife ends before dinner. But trust me, we're not done yet. Because what happens when you pit money, culture, and weather against each other? You get outrage, TikTok wars, and a very Australian identity crisis. Let's dig into what really separates the top from the bottom. Let's be real. Australia's housing market is like a dystopian game show. New South Wales? A home will cost you your firstborn. Tasmania? Cheap, but you'll be cold, broke, and possibly arguing with a wallaby for Wi-Fi. Western Australia and ACT are secretly winning here. WA's got solid wages and lower prices, and you get the beach. SET's expensive, yes, but its income levels balance it out. Meanwhile, Queensland and South Australia give off strong "you can survive here, but don't expect fireworks" vibes. But housing is only half the story. What about actual jobs? Victoria's booming with creative and tech industries. It's the country's cultural engine, and Melbourne alone is a magnet for startups, media, education, and anything you can freelance with a coffee in hand. ACE is the land of secure government jobs, stable, well-paid, and weirdly relaxing if you don't need chaos in your life. Northern Territory, massive potential for mining, defence, and tourism, but you'll need to trade convenience for isolation. South Australia? Let's just say, you might be starting a side hustle just to keep your avocado toast addiction going. Queensland is climbing, especially with Olympic prep, but wages haven't caught up with rent. And New South Wales? Jobs are everywhere, but so is competition, and commuting will chew your soul. But what about safety? Because one of these states is hiding a not-so-pretty secret. On paper, Australia is one of the safest countries in the world. But zoom in, and the cracks show. Northern Territory tops the danger charts. Crime rates over triple the national average, especially in Alice Springs and Darwin. It's complex, a mix of underfunding, alcohol policy issues, and intergenerational inequality. Queensland and parts of New South Wales aren't far behind, particularly in regional towns hit hard by economic downturns. But flip the coin? ACT is literally the safest place in the country. Low crime, high quality of life. You're more likely to get hit by boredom than a criminal. Western Australia and Victoria hold steady in the middle, safer than you'd expect for major population hubs. Tasmania? Safe, unless you count rogue possums. But hold up, even the safest city can be a nightmare if the vibe is off.